Hello everyone, my name is Cedric and I'm an at-home caregiver for my father who has had Alzheimer's now for a little over 15 years. Today I want to do a quick video talking about aspirating pneumonia, which is a deadly illness but has very minor symptoms, very common symptoms. Symptoms like coughing, symptoms like a slight fever, symptoms like a gurgling sound that you may interpret as phlegm in the throat. I want to talk to you today about this because about 2 to 3 months ago, my dad developed aspirating pneumonia. Now, I had never heard of aspirating pneumonia. And when he developed this, I had no idea of what the symptoms were. About 2 to 3 months ago, my dad developed a very common cough. There was nothing severe about this cough. It was just a normal cough. And most of us, when we have normal coughs, we treat it with cough syrup. And that's what I did. I treated it with cough syrup. The next day, my dad started developing a slight fever. The fever wasn't very high, but it was just a slight fever. And I treated the fever with a little Tylenol because that's what most people do, not thinking that it was something more severe. Now, the next day, after me knowing this, I started paying more attention to my dad's cough. And what struck me in a pattern was that when I was feeding him, it seemed like each meal that I fed him, his cough got a little worse. And that's what struck me as odd and made me call the nurse in. Once I told the nurse about the symptoms that he was having, that he was coughing when I was feeding him, and that he was running a slight fever, she knew those symptoms were something that may be dealing with aspirating pneumonia. And so she had us to call the ambulance and to get him to the hospital. Once we got him to the hospital and they ran a few tests on him, come to find out he did have aspirating pneumonia. Now, what this was the feeding that I was doing, that I was giving him, the food and the liquids that I was giving him was spilling over into his lungs and filling his lungs up. And we all know what will happen if your lungs fill up. You can't get air, and therefore you will suffocate or you will drown yourself to death. So in other words, if I had not taken action and getting him to the hospital, unknowingly I could have been feeding and giving liquids to my dad and actually causing death on him. The symptoms are so minor until you just have no idea that it's something as deadly as aspirating pneumonia. So what I want to do, I want to take this time out for all at-home caregivers who doesn't have a medical background, that if someone in your family that's elderly or has Alzheimer's and can't feed themselves, and they start having a slight cough when you're feeding them, they're getting feverish, or they're having this little gurgly sound as though they're having watery sound in their throat, like they need to cough up something. It could be that their lungs are filling up and they're not getting enough oxygen in their lungs, and they are actually drowning, or they are actually suffocating, if you will. So if you have symptoms like that, do not take it for granted. Call a nurse in, get them to the emergency center, because these symptoms are so minor until you'll be giving them Tylenol, you'll be giving them cough syrup, when it's really not a cough, and the fever is really not coming from the cough, but it's coming from some deep within them. So I want to take a quick video. I want to take time out and make this quick video, because this happened to me, and it's just by the grace of God that I started noticing that he was coughing more regular when I was feeding him, and know that was something that was really uncommon. And it prompted me to call the nurse in. So if you have someone in your home and you're taking care of them, and they're giving you a cough, and really if they are having this gurgling sound like it's phlegm, but yet when they cough, that they're not coughing up anything, or even if they cough up a little bit, it's more like the food that you're just giving them, but yet they will continue to have this gurgling sound in them, then 9 times out of 10 they probably have aspirating pneumonia. So my recommendation would be to get them to the hospital as fast as you can. I hope this video helped. I have a link to my website down at the bottom that I'm actually writing on things that have occurred to me that I'm hoping that will help others out. Thank you for listening to this video, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you.